Hello, welcome to Money and Investment with Babajide Komalafe. In this episode, we'll be discussing steps to buying existing shares on the stock market. Steps to buying existing shares in the stock market. Recall that in the last episode, we said that the stock market is where you buy and sell shares, and shares means ownership of companies. And we said there are two types of shares in the stock market: new shares and existing shares. In the last episode, we discussed about how to buy new shares in the stock market. Now, the opportunity to buy new shares does not come all the time. It is not all the time you see companies coming to do public offering, to sell new shares in the stock market. But you can always buy existing shares. Existing shares means that shares that are already in the possession of shareholders. Let's say I already have shares of some banks and I am willing to sell those shares because I need money. So there's always opportunity to buy existing shares of banks or existing ownership of banks. So what are the steps? The first step, if you want to buy an existing shares in the stock market, the first step is that you need to choose a stock broker. Remember, in two previous editions, we discussed, the role of stock brokers in the stock market. We said that they are middlemen. They are the ones who have been trained and licensed, to go to act as middlemen between those who want to sell and those who want to buy shares. So if you want to buy existing shares in the stock market, even new shares, you need to choose a stock broker. Now, how do I identify the stock broker that I will deal with? To identify a genuine stockbroker, visit the website of the Nigerian Exchange or the Nigerian Stock Market. We call it Nigerian Exchange, NGX. Visit their website. On the website of the Nigerian Exchange, particularly ngx.com exchange/trade becoming an investor/find a broker, you will see the list of all the licensed and active stockbrokers. So from that list, you can choose a stockbroker. But it is not just that. Get advice or recommendation from anybody that you know around you who has a stockbroker he or she is dealing with, or who is already buying and selling in the stock market. There will always be somebody around you. So you just ask one or two people, your friends, your uncle, anybody that maybe is in it. Just say, oh, can you recommend this stock? Or even go online, and then it will help you to choose. Out of all those, the list of licensed stockbrokers, you end up choosing one of them. Step number 2 is that you should visit the office of the stockbroking firm. Never, patronize any stockbroker by going to the website alone. Don't go to a website. You can go to their website to get the address of the stockbroker, but make sure you visit the office of the stockbroker, And why is it important? When you visit the stockbroker or the office of the stockbroking firm, study the environment in the office to observe how organized and the attitude of the staff to investors and customers. This will help you to assess the efficiency and the trustworthiness of the firm, of the stockbroking firm and its staff. So what we are saying is that it is not all stockbrokers that are efficient. It is not all stockbrokers, even the licensed one, it is not all of them that are trustworthy. We have seen, cases of dubious stockbrokers in the past. What do? They can give them your money to buy shares for you. Instead of buying shares for you, they will be using your money to trade. They buy shares and sell shares, and they'll be telling you that shares are not yet available. They may also buy shares for you at 10 naira and claim that they bought it at 15 naira. Some may also sell your shares without your knowledge or approval. But technology and regulation is making it more and more difficult for any stockbroker to play games. You understand? But nevertheless, visit the stockbroking firm. Step number 3, when you now get to the stockbroking firm and you are convinced that, okay, these are good people. Step number 3 is to decide on the shares of company that you want to buy. You have to decide. Do you want to buy the shares of Coca-Cola, or you want to buy the shares of Nestle, or you want to buy the shares of Babajide Komalafe? Though I'm not selling shares. Now, when you get to your stockbroking firm, they will ask you, which shares do you want to buy? If you don't have any shares of any company in mind, you can request for their advice. A good stockbroker will educate you and advise you on the companies to buy. It is part of their job. It's their job to also educate you and advise you. The issue of which company to buy will be discussed at some other episode. So after you have had a discussion with them, and based on their advice or based on what you have decided you want to do, and you have decided that these are the companies I want to buy their shares, the next thing is that you should place your order. The stockbroking firm will give you what we call an order form. It is a form. You will complete that order form where you will indicate, I want to buy the shares of XYZ so-so unit at this price by so-so time. The law requires that your stockbroker must carry out your order within 5 days, or inform you if he cannot carry it out and why. After you have completed the order form, the next thing is to pay for the shares, which is the 5th step. Pay for the shares. As a rule, don't pay cash, and don't give cash to any stockbroker or to the stem or to the staff of the stockbroker, because it might end up in their personal pocket. Request for the bank account details of the stockbroking firm and pay into that stockbroking firm, and the evidence of payment, keep it as a document, in your file. Step number 6, request for what we call a CSCS account. What do you mean by CSCS? There is a company called Central Securities and Clearing System. Central Securities and Clearing System. The CSCS is the bank for shares in the stock market. You know what a bank is? You have money, you go and keep your money in the bank. They give you an account number. They tell you this is how much you have in it. So the industry created CSCS, and the CSCS contains all the shares of quoted companies and has an account for every shareholder. So when shares are sold or bought, the CSCS will transfer the amount of shares involved in the transaction from the share account of the seller to the share account of the buyer. If the buyer does not have an account with the CSCS, the company will create one for him or her. So if it is the first time that you are going to the stock market through your stockbroker to buy a share, after you have paid and they bought, they will create a CSCS account for you. So you must request for that CSCS account number, because with that account number, you can go to CSCS directly yourself or go to their website and say, I want to check my account. Just like you go to your bank to check your bank account to know whether the money you give to the cashier has been deposited. So it is the CSCS statement obtained from the stockbroking firm or from the CSCS itself that confirms that the shares have indeed been bought and also been bought in your name. So if you pay for shares and they don't give you CSCS account number, then you should suspect that there's a foul play. Because until you have a CSCS account number that also shows you the shares in your name, you don't have shares yet. The last step, after you have been given your CSCS account number, you have confirmed in the account that the shares you ask them to buy are there. The last step is that monitor the prices of share. Check the newspapers to monitor the movement in the price of that share in case the broker wants to lie about the price of the share. A good stockbroking firm, they will send you every day, they will send you email about information, activities in the stock market, detailed information. That's what good stockbroking firms do. So that's why you have to be cautious about this particular stockbroker that you are going to confirm. So those are the 7 simple basic steps to buying an existing share in the stock market. I hope you find it helpful. Remember, share this among the younger ones so that they can also learn and participate in the market. Thank you very much. See you in the next episode.